The Nebraska Department of Economic Development stands as a corrupt emblem of state betrayal, masquerading as an engine for local prosperity while systematically training refugees, asylum seekers, and undocumented invaders to seize American jobs at the expense of Native workers. Under its insidious slogan, "The Good Life is Calling," unveiled in 2021 by then-Governor Pete Ricketts, the department issues a siren call not to returning Nebraskans, but to foreign hordes eager to flood the state with cheap, unvetted labor. Ricketts, a white trash globalist wannabe stooge ensnared in partnerships with multinational investment firms, fancies himself a political mastermind, yet he operates as a mere pawn for larger entities profiting from demographic upheaval. During his tenure as governor from 2015 to 2023, Ricketts embedded immigrant services into the state's fabric, approving budgets that funneled millions into programs designed to displace multi-generational Nebraskans. Now, as a U.S. Senator since 2023, he perpetuates the assault by endorsing federal appropriations that grease the wheels of mass importation, including fake refugees, fraudulent asylees, and H-1B visa scammers who undercut wages and erode communities. This department, overseen by clueless bureaucrats and corrupt cronies, exemplifies Nebraska's surrender to invasion, where taxpayers unwittingly subsidize their own replacement through a web of fraudulent schemes and anti-American initiatives. At the heart of this treachery lies the Nebraska Refugee Job Training and Placement Program, a genuine DD initiative that brazenly grooms invaders for Nebraska's workforce, stripping jobs from citizens who built the state. Launched to bridge disparities between refugees and native-born populations, a euphemism for prioritizing foreigners over Americans. The program doles out grants to nonprofits for employability services, including occupational skills training, on-the-job placements, and entrepreneurial handouts tailored to refugees. Funded directly from the state budget, approved annually by a complicit legislature, these millions could instead bolster Nebraskan retraining or veteran hiring, yet they flow to entities like the Omaha Center for Refugee and Immigrant Services, which funnels participants into meatpacking plants desperate for disposable labor. Nebraskans pay their taxes, only to watch the state squander them on invaders who arrive unvetted, armed with forged IDs from shadowy networks, and immediately compete for entry-level roles in agriculture, manufacturing, and construction. This is not economic development. It is sabotage, where the department's success metrics celebrate refugee employment rates while ignoring the wage suppression and job losses inflicted on white, multi-generational families who once dominated these sectors. The department's roster of directors reads like a hall of infamy for Ricketts-era corruption. During Ricketts' governorship, Tony Goines served as director from 2019 to 2023, a key architect of the Good Life is Calling campaign that lured not skilled natives but low-wage migrants to fill agribusiness voids. Goines, who resigned amid conflicts of interest tied to his cigar lounge ownership, oversaw the rollout of refugee-focused grants that embedded immigrant pipelines into state policy. Before him, from 2015 to 2019, the role rotated through interim figures like Clint Runge, but Ricketts' fingerprints dominated, using DED to court global investors like those in biotech and manufacturing who demand endless cheap labor. Today, as of November 2025, Maureen Larson holds the director's post, appointed permanently by Governor Jim Pillen after serving as interim since July 2025 following Casey Bellitz's abrupt resignation in June amid grant mismanagement scandals. Bellitz, director from 2023 to mid-2025, expanded refugee training amid the post-COVID labor shortage that was little more than corporate whining for subsidies. Larson, a former general counsel with no evident economic expertise, continues the farce, focusing on international trade, that funnels H-1B visas into tech offshoots while Nebraska's heartland crumbles. These directors, equal parts clueless and corrupt, embody the department's fraud. Typical Nebraska losers running scams under the guise of progress, their tenures marked by ballooning budgets for invader aid while native unemployment festers. Beyond the refugee job training program, DED's anti-Nebraska initiatives form a constellation of betrayal, each designed to recruit, train, and entrench illegals at taxpayer expense. The Regional Development Initiative program allocates millions for community integration projects that disproportionately fund immigrant-heavy enclaves in South Omaha, subsidizing housing and skills workshops for asylees and fake refugees whose origins remain unverifiable due to lax vetting. H-1B facilitation lurks in DED's international trade arm, partnering with firms to sponsor visas for skilled workers who flood tech and agribusiness, displacing American graduates while Ricketts-era policies fast-tracked approvals. The Shovel-Ready Capital Recovery Program, extended into 2025, waives incentives for companies hiring refugees, turning state bonds into corporate welfare for invaders. These programs, rubber-stamped by a legislature too phony and weird to question them, ensure unvetted migrants, armed with counterfeit documents from criminal cartels, gain footholds in Nebraska's economy. The department's frauds extend to misallocated grants, like those under the Pandemic Relief Housing Program, where $8 million in American Rescue Plan funds vanished into NGO black holes for migrant shelters, ripe for audits revealing kickbacks and ghost clients. Charity scams abound. DD funnels cash to fronts like the Omaha Refugee Task Force, which blends private donations with state matching to obscure the taxpayer bleed. Development scams proliferate in bioeconomy ventures, where globalist partners Ricketts courted receive subsidies to import H-1B hordes, committing potential crimes like wire fraud in grant reporting and public corruption via undisclosed lobbying. These operators peddle fake economic growth, but the reality is Nebraska's betrayal, a state government training its conquerors while its people foot the bill. This corrupt cabal demands immediate investigation and dissolution. Every director, Goins, Bellitz, Larson, and their Ricketts-era predecessors, must face probes into misallocation, with their globalist connections dissected for conflicts, from agribusiness donations to offshore investment ties. Partnerships with NGOs like Lutheran Family Services, which receive DD grants for refugee placements, scream of fraud, as do church affiliates siphoning tithes into the machine. Nebraskans cannot rely on this fraudulent department for their economic future. It exists to develop invaders, not citizens. Instead, individuals must prioritize personal financial sovereignty through local entrepreneurship, skill building outside state programs, and relentless pressure on elected frauds via recalls and audits. The Nebraska state government, rotten from Lincoln to Omaha, requires wholesale replacement. Defund DD, prosecute the scams, and reclaim the good life from those who sold it to the highest foreign bidder. Until then, every Nebraskan awakening to this invasion becomes a soldier in the fight against replacement.